Hold on to your butts.
Pardon.
My American.
I've been tracking Sasquatches for 25 years. Pardon.
My American.
Global awakening to the New World Order. Pardon.
My American.
Artificial intelligence android.
Pardon.
My American.
Do you believe in UFOs?
Yes, sir. Extraterrestrial.
You're listening to Pardon My American.
Essentially, yeah, we were just talking about this whole Stargate and what it's going to bring, and we kind of read the whole shebang on Twitter, OpenAI. But Trump basically came out his second day in office. He has this, conference where he has the three bigwigs, OpenAI, what is it? Something SoftBank, Oracle.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, hey guys, we're going to have the infrastructure of, America's going to lead the way in AI infrastructure. But the concerning part was he started talking about mRNA miracle medicines again, right?
Yes.
And that was the concern. And I have a clip of Mr. What's-his-nose, Larry Ellison. And he was kind of explaining this. And he's just very chipper, saying, hey. And you know what? He's talking about how these mRNA vaccines can be basically derived from your own DNA, individualized medicine. Every single person will have their own cure. Because like these cancer chunks just float around in your body and then blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And we can use AI to detect the cancer cells. And once we use this determination, yes, you have this specific gene alteration, we can then, within 48 hours, come up with a miracle medicine of your own. You can then inject it and then cure yourself of this cancer.
Yeah, basically saying they could customize a treatment for you based on your exact cancer and exact, like, how far along you are, how much you need, like all this stuff.
Right. But the thing is, why don't you play the clip? It's in the bookmarks. If you scroll down, you'll see Peter Bovet. It's a tweet from him, but you'll see the video of Larry Ellison kind of just standing there with his mouth open.
Yeah.
Just play that.
One of the most exciting things we're working on, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Mm-hmm.
The promise of the future.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, this has kind of been in the works for a while, as far as Project Stargate.
Customizable shit like that.
Right, but I mean, individualized medicine.
Yeah, they've been working on the mRNA shit for like 20 years.
Right, yeah, but like the individualized therapeutics, that is like a market that's kind of just been in the works for a while. It's like, how do you mass produce like a small little thing for one body? You know what I mean? One person's body. I don't know why it's so red, but it's literally like having Advil created for you. like Chris's Advil.
Yeah.
Like what? You'd think that would be super freaking expensive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This particular Advil works best on Greg. It's
Yeah.
built for Greg.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, what? How expensive is this shit going to be? And like, how do you do it? You know, how do you do it so quickly? And I guess this AI is the solution.
Well, from what I understand, I think I read a thing where Elon said the robotics that are used to build these mRNA shit that they're talking about are built by Tesla.
Correct, yeah. Because Tesla actually helped create the mRNA vaccine during the Big C, Little V.
Yeah.
You had little portable pods that would go to different cities and manufacture the drug, the miracle medicine for everybody. That's what like I don't think everybody knows that, but like Tesla itself was being a manufacturer of the COVID vaccine. So it's one of those things where you're thinking, oh yeah. So everybody is just kind of up in arms because we've been through this once. We don't want to go through this again. We ran on Make America Healthy Again, right? You have RFK Jr. join the Trump campaign.
Where the fuck has he been?
Right. Where is he at speaking out against this?
Like, he's been against the mRNA shit.
Chris has the flu, everybody.
The whole time. But why was he... that's my two questions. One, where was RFK at this presentation or this meeting or whatever? And where was Elon?
Yeah.
Because Elon is part of Trump's cabinet too, apparently.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't have to be invited to everything.
No, but he's been talking out against these people a lot.
Right. Well, like Trump ran on AI infrastructure being a big deal. Like he's been talking about this for a while, and he talked about it in all of his campaigns. You guys can go back and listen to his speeches.
Yeah.
So
and I don't have anything against AI if it's used for good intentions.
It will never be good intentions.
Well, why?
I will just tell you that.
No, okay. Not everything is going to be bad. AI can be used for really good shit. And so far, it is being used for really good shit.
Yeah. I don't trust people with AI because they will try to take advantage of it and use it as a weapon. Because that's what people do. I mean, that's what governments do. I will put it that way. Like, governments who want to seek power, they will infiltrate AI programs and make it take over the fucking world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
there's always somebody that has to weaponize the shit, and then on top of that, make money doing it.
Right. You know what I mean? Because I mean, table salt. Table salt's great, but if you separate the two molecules, you have very toxic compounds, right? And you can make it like a chemical bomb with it. So I'm just saying, like,
really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Sodium or chloride just by itself is like a deadly gas. So it's like the power is within the eye of the beholder, I guess. And you know, the intentions do matter, but with this, I don't think Trump is messing around. There's this movement out there, you know, the Q stuff that says that Trump is doing this to expose everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is all just a big plan, and that, you know, it's like he knows what he's doing because Trump knows that Elon does not like Sam Altman. Sam Altman is, you know, the OpenAI CEO.
Yeah.
And Sam Altman was like back in 2016 all the way through 2021, did not want Trump to get in, was pretty much praising people for blocking Trump's presidency back in 2020. And, you know, it's like one of those things where Trump knows that RFK Jr. is against this mRNA vaccine. Well, at least he was.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, why would he do this on the second day? You know what I mean? Like, literally, he's bringing in his adversaries that he ran against the very next day after he gets in. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it's a weird move. I mean, especially since, like I said earlier, like the main people of your Make America Healthy Again, your main person that you brought on for that wasn't even part of this. Yeah.
I just don't know. Like, I I'm gonna go with Dave's motto. You know, the Occam's razor or Occam's razor.
Oh yeah.
The most simplest solution is your answer, and that Trump is into this. Like, that's the simplest answer, is that he wants these guys to develop this program. He's giving them $500 billion to do it.
Maybe.
And, well, that's what they said.
That's what they said. That's right? Another thing Elon said today, too. Or was it yesterday? Or it was early today. That he has on good authority that they don't even have that money.
Right.
To invest.
You know, and, you know, I think Elon... You know, he's kind of coming out against Sam Altman, and he's saying, you know, they don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. I think that he's kind of jealous because he wants everything to be his AI through XAI, through Grok, training it to love humanity, quote unquote.
Maybe.
So he's trying to maybe control the beast, seemingly so. I don't know. But there is this argument that other countries are going to do this, so why don't we do it first and we can kind of control it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and that's what Trump said during all his campaigns and stuff too, right? He wanted America to be the leader in that kind of shit. He wanted us to build it up and create this thing that is untouchable from anybody else. We wanted to be the masters of AI.
You know, and I would say... Yeah, that makes sense because it is a weapon. AI can be served as a brutal fucking weapon. You know, you can destroy. I mean, you could teach it to become like a major computer virus. But not only that, but mass surveillance. That's pretty much what this is going to be used for. But in my opinion, I think that when you look at where was I going to go with this? Trump and Elon. It makes sense that like they're trying to play like this good cop, bad cop type of thing where Elon is trying to be like, whoa, Trump, look what you're doing. And even Alex Jones, you know, if you listen to Alex Jones, he was saying that, listen, the mRNA can be good. You know, it depends on how you're using it. It's all in like the intentions. You know, we were sold like this evil thing. We didn't need it, blah, blah, blah. But this is for, you know, cancer. Like, what if you have... And we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Like, what if you have paralysis? What if you have something else? And then this Neuralink, you could put it in your brain, and all of a sudden you could walk again.
Yeah, most things that are groundbreaking can be used for good and bad.
Right. Yeah, and so it's like, who is going to be open to putting this in their body? Right? If you have cancer, if your kid has cancer, what else are you going to try? Are you going to try this?
Probably. I mean, at that point, what do you have to lose?
So, and that's the thing where people will be very tempted to not do this do this.
And that's the thing too. The fact that they're saying they're making this strictly for, they didn't say strictly, but making this for cancer patients. It's not going to be wide. It doesn't sound like it's going to be widespread, distributed to everyone. It's not going to be like a mandated thing. It's going to be like, we're going to use AI to early detect if you have cancer. If you go in for like, oh, I'm feeling weird, I need to do some blood tests and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is going to be an option to get a specified treatment to you if you end up having cancer.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, honestly, if you think about Ruth Bacon Cheeseburger,
yeah.
I mean, how many times did she overcome cancer?
Was it
She's probably
was it like 3 times or something?
3 or 4. And pancreatic cancer she overcame. So I'm like, no one overcomes that. So like, she probably took this shit, dude. This shit's probably been out for a long time.
Yeah,
and they're just rolling it out.
Yeah, who knows? I mean,
you know what I mean?
Like you said, they've been working on this mRNA shit well before COVID even happened.
Well,
so
and Trump even ran in his what was it, 2017, 2018. He was saying that he was going to find the cure for HIV, AIDS, and cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And what if this is what he was talking about? But why? This, like, because if he was in charge of this whole miracle medicine, no one wants to take the mRNA now.
Yeah, it's got a bad taste in everybody's mouth right now.
So maybe if you're looking at this from like a good cop, bad cop thing, or like like white hats, black hats, the black hats knew that the mRNA medicine can be used for good.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to taint everybody's perspective of it by putting out with this bullshit in 2020. Now everybody's stepping back going, whoa, what? And now the ball is back in Trump's court, and he's going, hey, look, I got this good thing. And everybody's like, no, dude. The well is poisoned at this point. No one's drinking from that shit.
It could be like you were saying earlier, like this 5D chess type thing. What if he's bringing all these people out in front? Like, I don't think there's ever been a situation where Sam Altman or this Ellison guy has been at the White House doing presentation on their fucking technology, medical technology that they have, and now they are in front of the whole country. Everyone's got their eyes on them, and then if they do start creating these and making them for people, do they, before they can, and we said this during COVID too, there's supposed to be no other medical intervention therapy, that can work for them to get released in time, because otherwise it would take years for all the trials and all the shit for them to actually get approved to do this on people.
Yeah, the emergency use authorization, right?
Yeah, they would have to get that, but there has to be no other alternative to implement this even any time before Trump's out of office.
Yep.
So what if they are doing this, and in the process of we want to try to get emergency use authorization because of this cancer situation is taking over everybody, but then in the meantime they're able to bring forth all the shit that's been tested for years and years and try everything and actually find cures that way.
Oh yeah, like it was a big guinea pig type of testing.
Yeah, it's a way to bring all these other treatments into the forefront while also bringing light into these other corrupt people.
Yeah, it's a horrible way to do it. I mean, I got to tell you, like the distrust, the amount of distrust that is there right now is through the roof. And that you're bringing in Sam Altman and Larry Ellison, of all people, to do this? Like, no. Like, you picked the wrong people to do this. Like, you would actually have a no-namer come out and be like, hey, guys, listen, this man, you don't know this man, but he's a brilliant scientist. He's been working on these technologies forever, and he really knows his stuff. He treated one of my family members, and they no longer have a disease. You would convince the public by not having these corrupt people try to sell the product that you want them to put in their bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the way to do it if that's what you're trying to do. Like, if he's really trying to help people get rid of cancer, this isn't the way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, your spokesman for whatever method you're trying to sell can't be people that people don't already trust.
Yeah.
They've already been in the limelight as crooked fucking people. So it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why he picked those people. Unless he's starting off the presidency on the wrong foot already, which would fucking suck.
Well, and, you know, I hate to break it to you, but this is kind of what I was telling you, is that he can talk up a good game, but, like, you guys got to be prepared for a backstab, dude, because what happened in 2020, like, I can never forget that, and that's why I couldn't vote for the guy. And it's like, I just worry about that shit happening again, because, like, what's to stop it? Nothing. Like, nothing was done. Nothing ever came from that. It was just like it just dissolved away, like air deflating out of a balloon.
Yeah.
But guess what? The balloon seems to be inflating again, and now it's like, what? No one really knows what to do. They're like, are you kidding, Trump? Right? And that's where I think that, you know, if you are a big Trump supporter, you need to, like, let Trump know this. Like, speak it out, put it in the algorithm, do whatever you got to do to make sure Trump knows this is not what we want.
Yeah, I would say the mRNA stuff could be good from what I understand about it. I just don't like these people. I don't trust these people, especially with the Ellison guy and Oracle talking about AI surveillancing the country and shit.
Yeah, I have that clip, dude. Let's
Which
let's go to bookmark.
that's an older clip, but that kind of tells you where he's at.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it's this right here, right? Yeah. The mathematician posted it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras, it's AI that's looking at the camera. No, you can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off, it's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times. And the supervision will, and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person, whether it's the sheriff or the chief or whomever we need to take control of the situation.
Okay, you can. Yeah, so I mean, you can see what he's trying to sell it as is like police brutality, police infringements, but it's like, no, they're talking about you.
Yeah,
everybody.
He also said citizens would be on their best behavior.
Hell yeah,
because they're constantly being recorded too.
Yeah, 1984, people. The book that's right here. Like that is exactly what happens in 1984. You cannot do anything without Big Brother watching you, and it's literally an AI algorithm that flags your every move.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like this guy.
No. And you know what? This whole grid thing, this Project Stargate, and I do want to get into like the name of Project Stargate and like the CIA.
I want to talk about that too.
But before, like Project Stargate has been in the works for over a year. I mean, if not more than this. Like I found articles back in March 2024 talking about Project Stargate. But it's it's actually being funded by Microsoft and a bunch of other people too. So you got Bill Gates in there, and not to go on a tangent, but Bill Gates just had a 3-hour sit-down dinner with Trump. Oh. And Bill Gates was going off about how impressed he was, saying, like I really like the ideas that Trump was presenting, and he liked my ideas, and it was a really good dinner. 3 hours.
Yeah, I seen that. He said he's very excited about what the future looks like.
Right. And I'm like, bro, come on. Can you guys not see this? Like, is it just like, am I crazy? Like, the simplest solution here is he's meeting with Bill Gates for 3 hours talking about who the fuck knows.
Yeah.
He's coming out, bringing out these deep state MFers talking about AI infrastructures and putting shit in your body. But this whole, like, goddamn that. Project Stargate. It is so massive, and they're talking about building it by 2028. And it made me think of the LA fires. Because they need land. They don't know where they're going to build this yet.
Well, yeah, I've heard that theory tossed around where they're burning everything down so they can rebuild the new shit that they're supposed to have done. And
the fires just sparked back up, dude, today.
Yeah,
there's a massive one.
Another one.
So I'm just saying, like, by 2028, and then in 2028, I believe the Super Bowl will be there.
In LA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, the Olympics. My apologies.
Oh, yeah, the Olympics. The Super Bowl this year is going to be in
somewhere else. I think it was in LA last year.
Oh.
Or a couple years ago.
Yeah, the Olympics
the Olympics will be there. Yes, in 2028. So I'm thinking, like, get in the smart grid, get in the AI technology, get in all this surveillance stuff in time for the Olympics. Use that as a massive first test. Hey, let's stop some terrorism, right? Maybe you have some sort of planted idea that gets spurred. You know how like the feds like to like basically spur these things into fruition,
Yeah.
right? Entrapments. They get an entrapment operation going. Hey, the Olympics are coming to LA. Let's get a little risky. And then you use this new program to stop. I'm just, throwing out ideas. But 2028 just made me think of, LA, Olympics. And now we have Stargate by 2028.
Yeah. I've heard, like I said, I heard that theory being thrown around, but I'm like, I don't think you'd be able to build that much shit in only 3 years.
I think they could.
You think so?
I think they wipe it out. Bring in some cement trucks, put down the foundation. I mean, you're talking about a massive flat land in LA, right?
Well, it's not all, where it's all burning isn't flat, dude.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, take out the hills. No. Oh shit! He got the fog vid, everybody. But yeah, no, I'm just like, wherever it's going to go, it's going to just be like this flat, massive square building. So it won't take very long.
Well,
it's almost like,
from out here, the shit that they're wanting to build by 2028 isn't just a single building. It's like a whole new like city.
Exactly, dude.
Which,
yeah.
If they were going to build that, I don't think they're going to be able to fucking build a whole fucking city in 3 years. No way.
Well, they were talking about doing it in Texas. That was what Trump said yesterday, or what I think Sam Altman brought it up at the meeting. They were talking about initial programs or initial drawings were laid out in Texas, but they weren't sure exactly where they're going to put this. But it's like they would need some sort of massive fuel generator to make this thing go, because this is going to use so much power to power this building. And they were talking about like nuclear energy possibly. And that's like why maybe Trump's going to be pushing out this alternative energy force that, hey, we discovered this alternative source of energy. Look, we can use it to power our homes. Like, save California, right? California's on these smart meters that are causing fires and all this shit, supposedly. Not gonna, that's just the word.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, there's so much that could be introduced that you could say is being introduced for good. Meanwhile, you're pushing this evil agenda. I mean, this is like the AI being ran by Altman and Ellison is just evil to me. And I don't really know anything about what's his nose? SoftBank.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard the name SoftBank, but I don't really know much about them.
Right. But it's like literally when you look up this stuff about AI, it's talking about like AGI. They wanted to build AGI, which is literally like faster than human consciousness. That is the decision making where you're asking a question, it's there, your answer.
Yeah.
The next level is called super AI. And that is like a human being. It's literally its own entity. It has feelings. It knows what to do to live longer. And what's it going to do if someone wants to shut it down? And that's where it's literally like a freaking sci-fi movie, dude. We were like, what? This thing's going to try anything to sustain its life,
Yeah, that's right. That's where I kind of start losing trust in it, is when they start making the AI its own being.
Yeah.
Like, why does it need to get that far? Why can't you just make it work really, really, really fucking good and then just leave it alone?
I'm going to get biblical on your ass, okay? I'm going to throw out a little biblical verse here.
Okay.
I got to look it up because I kind of forgot it. But Revelation, hold on a second. Revelation 9:6. And it says, let's see. What version? King James Bible, okay. And in those days men shall seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. All right. Now, when I read that, I was like, people want to die, but they can't. Right? Like they're saying, death, take me away. But death's going to flee. And what I'm thinking
that's kind of like how vampires are, right? They're alive.
Exactly.
They're alive for so long, and eventually they want to die because they're tired.
well, at least they could go stand out in the sunlight and
Yeah.
just dissolve, or like drive a stake through their heart. In this instance, I think that we're going to have this transhumanist agenda go all the way through, where like you have nanotechnology in your body that will sustain your life. It'll cure your cancer, that's for sure. But what else will it do? Will it make you live longer?
I don't think it could make you live longer because it wouldn't have any operation control over your body, right? So it wouldn't be able to tell your body, oh, something's happening here. We need to do this and this and this to counteract what's happening inside the body. But having that AI shit used as a medical device, that could make people live longer.
Yeah. And I do want to play something here. Hold on a second. I just bookmarked a video of Jared Kushner. Now, he did a live stream for his book back in 2022, and he was talking to, I don't know who he was talking to. He was on a show, but he was talking about how his generation would be the first to live forever and the last to die. And he said, due to scientific innovations, I'm hoping that my generation will be the first to live forever. Now, what the fuck does that mean? Due to science, like, okay, yeah, he could have just been like saying, yeah, live forever, last to die. But play this clip, dude. I just bookmarked it, and this is what made me start thinking about this stuff, too.
Friend. And then finally, I think that from the last year, the one thing I've tried to put a priority on since I left the White House was, getting some exercise in. I think that there's a good probability that my generation is, hopefully with the advances in science, either the first generation to live forever or the last generation that's going to die. And so we need to keep ourselves in pretty good shape. And then the other thing I like, friend, and then finally,
right. So
I think
that's basically it.
From
So I think he said the first generation to live forever or the last generation to die, not and. That would be weird if you were the first to live forever and the last to die. That means everyone else on the planet would have died already.
Right. But it's just one of those phrases of tongue where you're like, did he really mean it?
Well, I mean,
was he just throwing it out there, or was that just kind of like a quirky little saying?
I feel like that is not as far-fetched as you would think. Because I've read and seen multiple things where they've been working on quote unquote cures for death for a while now, trying to put dying as a disease and not necessarily an end of life.
Yeah.
They've been working on that for a while. Like they've almost got, last I heard, and this was several years ago, they had almost figured out what it is in your body that makes you start dying. Like if you're just dying of old age and things start giving out, the thing that starts deteriorating your body, they've almost figured out how to counteract that or how to stop that from
it's
happening.
the telomeres.
Yeah.
So it's the telomeres, which are end caps on your DNA strands. And those start out at a certain length. And as you age, they get shorter.
Yeah.
And when they get too short, they start to mutate. And they can cause cancer, they can cause illness, they can cause anything, right? And so the key, obviously, is let's keep those long. Let's not get them short, right?
Longer is better.
At least, yeah, longer is better. Right? That's what she said, And that's the whole key is like, how do you keep yourself young? People are trying to inject themselves with young blood. Ambrosia, remember the company?
Yeah.
Injecting young blood.
Mm-hmm.
There's the transfusionist guy. He's like the biohacker who injects his son's blood, and instead of doing all these wacky things, if you have an mRNA type of thing that would keep your cells
stable,
like Neverland, dude, you're like Peter Pan.
Yeah. Like if they were to be, would you want that? Would you want to be able to live forever?
No.
No?
Fuck no. No, don't you want to like see heaven sometime? Like, don't you ever wonder what it's
yeah,
like?
but if you had the ability to live forever, I mean, technically, you could just choose to go whenever you wanted after that, right?
I don't know, right? And that's the whole. That's why I brought up that Bible verse, because I don't know if that's a warning, right? Because there's an image of this too, and it's freaking creepy. Like an artist drew an image for that verse, and it's literally a bunch of people. You know, like Death with the sickle. He's all in the black robe, and he's just standing there.
Yeah.
He's standing at like the edge of this cliff, and there's all these people like literally like grasping for him, like, please take me with you, and they're just like begging Death, and Death's just like, nope, see ya. Like he's gonna just leave without him. And it's like, what? Like, what does this mean? Like, people are going to be immortal, or that? And when you look at the beginning of the Bible, like
you look in Old Testament stuff, and like people lived for hundreds and hundreds of years.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. So are we going back to this old technology that they had at the beginning of the Bible, and that we've had this whole entire time? Big Ron was even talking about how there's like this alien technology, and we know Big Ron can be kind of out there sometimes, but there's this alien technology that they distorted our DNA to only make us live for so long.
Yeah, because they wanted us to be servants to them.
Right. So we're like batteries.
They couldn't let us live long enough to learn how to do what we needed to do to get to where they were.
Right. And that's why you have war. That's why you have politicians. That's why you have the ebb and the flow of the Republican, the Democrat.
So then you have to kind of look at the other side of this. If mRNA was used for good, is this the technology that's going to accomplish that?
Well, it depends on your definition of good, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's a good thing to get back to those old stories when people would live for 700 years.
Well, the reason why they lived that long is because they had Nephilim blood. They literally had fallen angel blood. Because the fallen angels fell down to earth, mated with women, and they created demigods, right? And then that's how you had these stories of like David and Goliath. Like you had gigantic people, like you had giants on this earth.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you believe in that stuff, right? But that's where
Baron Trump.
this whole idea comes from, right? And it's like, if you know those secrets and those are passed down, it's like, hey, here's how you keep yourself from dying. How do you do that? And like, you could never do that. Like, you couldn't use that technology on yourself, right? That would be the only downfall, is you'd be like, here's this technology. That little mouse you see over there in that cage, it's been alive for over 1 million years, dude. I know you don't believe me, but here's a little cave drawing of it. Pass it on. Here's a photo of it in 19 or 1800s. You know, I'm just saying, like, you could never use it because people would see you still alive, and they'd be like, how are you still alive? Unless you're, like, literally this no-namer.
Yeah, but why would that mean you couldn't use it?
Well, I guess if you're a public figure, that would be, like, your like, whatever. Like, you would know about it, but I don't know. I'm just throwing out, like, weird ideas, but. Because someone would see you. It'd be like the Nicolas Cage type of things, dude. Maybe these people aren't clones at all. Maybe they're just living forever.
Oh, like the old time photos of different people that look like people now.
Yeah,
like
and
the same thing with Jay-Z in that 19 picture or whatever it was.
Right, and like when you're a celebrity, you never die. You know, like you're given this secret technology, this secret, lifelong whatever. Like, hey, you can have all the riches, all the fame, and all you want. You just got to sell your soul, and we'll give you this thing, and you'll live forever. They're like, fuck, okay, let's do it. I don't know, but like,
I don't know if I would do it or not.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I'd want to have all the time in the world to do whatever I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, like you said, like the question not knowing if there's anything else after this would remain with you all the time.
Yeah. And some people would be okay with that. I mean, some people just love to live forever, right?
Yeah.
Because they're comfortable with knowing. And that's honestly what life is all about. It's about gaining knowledge and knowing.
Yeah.
But so some people, like the material world can only get you so far, right? And like that's where people turn to like opening up to spirituality, meditating, praying, and they experience something well beyond what you could ever experience here, right? And then you get it all the time with like near-death experiences. When people die and they come back, they're like, what? I'm coming back? No! You know, they're just like pissed. They're like, why did you send me back? Like, right? And like they always say, like whenever they die, they just feel like overwhelming love, like where you're just on the verge of either coming to tears or like you just want to hug somebody, and it's just like, you know, that feeling, right? And it's just like just constantly that feeling, like it never goes away. So I don't know, like to me, that's where I'd want to be, but no one knows what it's really going to happen when you die, because those people could be full of shit, right? They could be just like going through something, their body could be going through something. And
yeah, I guess if I was to choose to like take something to live forever, I definitely wouldn't do it alone. Like I wouldn't do it no fucking way if it was just me, because then I wouldn't be able to just know I'm living forever and then watch everyone I know around me die. That would suck.
Right.
That would be the worst.
You would think that like any accident that strongly like deforms your body, that would have to kill you. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
you can
I'm
live
sure
forever.
Yeah, you can live forever, but you fucking fall off a cliff, you're gonna die.
Right. So it's like one of those things where you have to take care of yourself. Right?
Yeah.
So honestly, like just going back to this whole thing, the Stargate scenario, I mean, it comes from, I mean, how long are we going here? Are we good?
We got like 15 minutes.
Okay. So like I looked up, you know, just Project Stargate. It's historically the CIA Project Stargate, right? And it was this umbrella term that they used for classified U.S. government programs investigating psychic phenomenon, including remote viewing. And I remember there was this one instance of a person or a subject who described themselves going to Mars.
Yes, they described an ancient civilization on Mars.
Yeah, like over 1 million years ago. And so they showed up, they're like, what the fuck is this?
And apparently, from what I understand, because I read a little bit about that, and apparently the civilization that guy supposedly seen was the last civilization on Mars. Like they were already going extinct or whatever it is.
Yeah, there was like some massive either.
I think they were in war.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. You know, it's like so hard to tell, dude. It's so hard to tell because there is evidence that the remote viewing worked. But then there's also evidence that it didn't work at all.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that try to say they can do it and they're frauds. But then there has been several instances where they use these people, especially in like missing persons cases and stuff, where they're actually able to find these people through their methods. There's been different documentaries about this happening. Like it's been used and hasn't been scientifically proven on the public side, but remote viewers have been used by authorities in the past.
Dude, that is one of the most paranormal, normal things that like no one ever talks about. The CIA actually had a program for remote viewing.
Yeah.
Like how fucking bizarre is that? You know what I mean? Like you could sit there in a room, close your eyes, and you could see something in real life and draw a picture of it and describe it.
It makes you wonder, well, first of all, where did they come up with the name Stargate? Was it just, did they use it as a literal sense? Like it's a gateway to the stars, like you're remote viewing to somewhere else?
Dude, I think so, yeah. I mean, if you look up the definition of a Stargate, I mean, it honestly, like if the Stargate franchise was all about military science, you know what I mean? Like military science fiction, the big old like circle, you're walking through it. And remember, they had the portal video screen in New York City where the woman flashed her titties. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Right, and they're showing potatoes and shit over in Ireland or something. It was New York. There was a portal going to places around the world, and that was in the shape of the Stargate, the big old circle. And it's just odd that the very next year now, we're having Project Stargate, which is, you know, this ability to remote view, but now we're putting it into an AI brain, and AI will see the future pretty much. Like it'll see what you're doing at all times and even predict what you're going to do next time, like a Minority Report type of shit.
I wonder. This is gonna be like on the other end of the woohoo. I wonder if this mRNA is being pushed up into the forefront again, not because it may be used for bad or evil and it's a thing we should fear, but I wonder if it's a thing that is going to push us into the direction of future human capabilities. Like,
absolutely,
because there's been different theories and people saying that, like the telepathy and remote viewing and stuff, and those back in ancient times, those used to be normal things that people were able to do. Well, definitely more normal than now. And like you were saying before, how they've speculated whether or not our DNA has been altered in the past by Anunnaki or whoever the fuck did it. I wonder if we're starting to get to the point where we're going to be creating technology that's going to remove all those things from our bodies that keeps us from being those types of humans again.
Well, let me tell you the wooest of woo, okay?
The wooest of woo, okay?
Okay, this is wooer. This is more woo than Wu-Tang, all right?
Oh, okay.
This whole thing, the transhumanist agenda. Some have speculated that this is going to correlate with a new religion, right?
Okay, yeah, I've heard that.
And eventually, by 2030, that's why 2030 is this big deal, because everybody's like, what? Why is 2030 a big deal? You know, you have like the WEF has the 17 sustainable goals by 2030.
Yeah.
You have even other like companies, like this whole thing is to be built by 2028, 2030. And if you look at Raelianism, the UFO religion, it's like a UFO cult. They believe that if they build a second embassy, which would be, they said, Israel's next embassy. If they build an embassy, which they could use as Israel's next embassy, and that's a whole nother can of worms, like with biblical prophecy, then that would spark the aliens to come down, and the aliens would be worshipped as our next god. And they said that like the aliens are actually us. They created us based off of clones up in the sky. And he said like this is all based off of Rael. He's like this French guy who was abducted out in a desert one time and taken up to this spaceship where he found like clones of himself, and they showed him clones of all this other stuff. And he said, you know, he like brought a Bible, and they were teaching him like the real like teachings of the Bible is like a code and all this shit. And he said that 2030 was the day that he had to build this embassy by. That's when they were planning to return. And so you have this descending of alien life form coming down. And supposedly this would be like the Anunnaki, right? They would look like human beings, but they would have superhuman powers, right? And that's why this whole superhumans, like X-Men, DC Comics, comic books, stems from this idea that you could have superhuman powers. Like it would be cool to have superhuman powers. And that's like, they want you to think that that's really cool, because eventually you might be able to gain superhuman powers by taking the miracle medicine that would give you this upgrade, right? And so what they would do is the plan is they would have these beings come down to Earth, show you what you're capable of really doing.
Yeah.
And they go, if you want to be like us, you have to inject yourself with this miracle medicine. And it's kind of like upgrade. You know, you get your next upgrade, right? You want to be stronger. You want to be faster. You want to learn how to fly. You want to do all these crazy things, right?
Yeah.
And that's like transhumanists will allow you to do that. Like, it's like merging man with machine. And they've been like showing you this predictive programming through movies and science fiction and
Yeah.
comic books, all this stuff, dude. So,
But what if the transhumanism thing is is more of the bad side, the bad direction of things? Because once you're part machine, they're not going to create these transhumans without having control of them, right? Okay, whoever's making these things for people to integrate with is going to leave in there some amount of control, so they just can't become more powerful than their creators.
right.
I mean, that's easy in my brain. Like, if you're going to help these people become more powerful, you're not going to let them be more powerful than you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, what if the other direction is like kind of what I was saying, and it is not the transhumanism part of it, but it's eliminating the things that are holding humanity back in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
maybe
I don't know. Maybe like.
But then that kind of goes against God's creation, right? Because you'd say that, well, God created you the way that you are for a specific reason.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
Did God create us before or after our DNA was manipulated?
Don't know, right?
It would have to have
and
been
that goes
before,
back to
right?
the beginning. Yeah, that goes back to all the ways like we know that Nephilim blood survived the flood,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, if it's still in us, will we be forgiven, right? And I do think so. I think that, yeah, it's like, but you look at like the Old Testament, that's why God flooded the earth, dude. That's like the theory is that he wanted to get rid of the Nephilim DNA because the fallen angels mated with women, human women, tainted the blood, tainted the DNA. And he said, no, that's not what I created. This needs to go bye-bye, right? And there was this theory that the Tower of Babel, right, Nimrod, who is literally like the sun god, this is all goes back to sun god worship. Stargate, the military operation in that movie, goes back to an Egyptian culture who worships Ra, the sun god. So, I mean, you got the connection right there. So, Nimrod was building the Tower of Babel to reach to the heavens. And they're saying, there's theories that it wasn't a physical tower, it was a Stargate. It was a way to cross dimensions into heaven to start a holy war. Literally start a war in heaven against God and angels. And that's what the fallen angels came down to earth, and they were building an army. And that's what you could argue, building these superheroes, these superhumans with all of this tainted DNA, making people stronger. You're making your army, right? You're making the devil's army, and you're going to build that Stargate going up to heaven, start the holy war.
But why? But why start a holy war with God?
Because he kicked them out. They're pissed. They want to take over.
I can see the fallen angels doing that, but none of these people around right now are fallen angels.
But that's what I'm saying, is that the fallen angels will come back down and be worshipped, right? And the fallen angels are the alien gods that would come back down, eventually be starting this new religion. Everybody injects themselves to gain the powers of these fallen angels. I told you this was the wooest of woo. Like, this is the wooest of woo, dude. Can't get any more woo than that.
Well, I mean, Stargate is a thing now. Project Stargate.
Right.
Like I said, I don't trust the people that he brought up today. I mean, mRNA technology, isn't always necessarily going to be bad. I guess, I mean, that technology could be used for good. But I don't like the way it started.
Yeah. No, it's very concerning. Everybody who wanted Trump to be in should be letting him know this is not right.
Well,
So
at least for right now, I mean, obviously it's going to be used for people if they want to use it who don't really have any other options of living. And there's no reason so far to say that it's going to be mandated or anything like that. So,
right.
I mean, I guess we'll see how this fucking plays out.
Yeah. But I mean, by the time we just sit and watch it play out, it's going to be way too late, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I think they already have this shit already built. And they're putting this idea out to get a feel of things, like how people will feel about this. And that's why I feel like putting the pressure out right now is very important. Because they'll know. Like, Trump will eventually know and be like, okay, I'll take a step back. I'm like, this isn't the time.
Yeah.
But you got to know, like, he put this out there. He's been talking about this. Like, this isn't like a mistake. This isn't like some 5D chess thing. He's literally been talking about this on the campaign trail. He was talking about this years ago. Like, we need to be the leaders in AI. Space Force, Starlink, like the Starlink satellites. That's why he brought in Elon, because Elon is Department of Defense, dude. Like, whether we like it or not, that's like who writes his paychecks. And it's like the Department of Defense uses Starlink. It's literally called Star Shield. Everybody can look it up. It's a militarized version of Starlink. And I don't know what the agenda is, but everything looks like surveillance state to me. That's what AI is going to be used for, because other than that, yeah, it's cool, like, using Grok to find an answer really quick. It's cool to, like, know an answer faster, or, like, have it write a paper, or have it draw a picture, and eventually have it write a movie, have it write songs, have it write whatever you want it to do. But I don't want it watching me.
No, I don't really want it watching me either, but I do agree it could be very beneficial in the medical field too.
Right.
I
and
think,
you can argue that it's already watching you. I mean, everybody has an iPhone. Everybody's being surveilled now. It's just a different way to do it.
Different kind of surveillance, yeah.
But I could throw the phone away and I could go off grid whenever the fuck I want.
True.
Can't do that with Starlink. You got satellites above your head.
How much do you think Starlink will end up being the access to internet, and America owns it?
I think it's going to be really soon. I think it might be this year.
You think like if there is an internet outage, like a blackout, how much you want to bet Starlink just fires everybody back up, and now the U.S. controls the internet?
That's, I think, the plan, dude. Like, they've been testing it with disaster areas, like North Carolina, I think, after the hurricane.
Yeah.
And then you have LA now. They did it with a couple of countries. They did it with an island. I can't remember the island. But that's also why I think Jeff Bezos has been sending his dick rocket up. He's trying to compete. I honestly think, like, these millionaires, billionaires that have space rockets and shit, they're starting their own satellite companies and, like, their own satellite internet, because they can see the writing on the wall. They know that satellite internet is the wave of the future. And it's like, who's going to compete with Elon?
Nobody,
and when I say
nobody
Elon,
right now.
Department of Defense, right? So that's, yes. I think, like, my concerns about the whole one world internet have been there for ever since he started this whole Starlink, dude. I'm like, what? So, like, literally somebody can go under the water, under the ocean, cut the cables to all of our internet, and then where do we go? Oh, we got to go to Starlink.
Yep.
It's, like, simple, That's easy to deduce.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, dude. We'll see where this goes. Obviously, everybody keep an eye on stuff, on all this Stargate shit.
Yes.
And I hope it doesn't turn into something like last time with the mRNA bullshit. But obviously that left a bad taste in everybody's mouth on round 1. So
Right. So
We'll see.
lots of explaining to do, Trump. You got a lot of explaining to do. Everybody's confused by this. So hopefully it gets better. We'll see, right? We just got to see how this plays
We'll see what happens. Thank you guys for all watching and being here with us. We'll see you guys on Friday, right?
Hell yeah. Get on Patreon, everybody.
Yeah, Patreon.
$5 a month.
Call
Join the
in
conversation.
show. We'll see you guys later.
Peace.